What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode with AB Investments. The weather is fantastic in the Midwest now in Cincinnati, Ohio. Remember just 2 days ago you saw the snow and the flurries and the freezing temperatures? Well, it was in the upper 60s today, and it's still in the 50s now at night. And wow, yeah, you gotta love it, right? Welcome to Cincinnati. Okay, you're probably wondering, you looked at the thumbnail as you were coming into this video, and that thumbnail should be your explanation to the entire reason of this week's price action. This red, when I told you guys in yesterday's video, it has nothing to do with that stupid theory about like the lawsuit is the reason why we voted for what we wanted and we got it, and the lawsuit is what's making us go down now. They're taking advantage of it in the meantime. Stupid shit. That's what people who drift talk about. Again, the thumbnail proves it. Why? Because numbers don't lie, but people, they might drift they might not lie, but they might drift just to get by. That rhymed, actually. And the reason why I say that is because you look at the thumbnail, you see how many puts are out of the money for this week. Over 800,000. If you go look and see the calls, also in the hundreds of thousands are out of the money. They need the market makers' crime. It's not just one. It's not just Citadel. There's Virtue. There's Sequoia, sorry. And all of them are market makers, and there's still even more. So the idea that there's the red action that we've seen was because the lawsuit is so elementary and stupid and childish. So these numbers don't lie to you. Now, this next thing, again, they need those. That price action right there, the reason why the price is where it's at as we speak currently is 100%, in my humble opinion, because of the options and getting most of these options out of the money, starting obviously with the puts and the calls. Now, that's out of the way. Yesterday, I also shared with everybody to keep always, as an investor, you always want to keep your eye on next. Don't get caught up in the moment. Next. What is next? All of this is being prepared and prepped for an FOMC meeting next week that will overshadow all these theories that are bouncing around, not just pertaining to one stock, not just to AMC or any other stock, like any of our favorite stocks, whether GME or whatever, next week will be like this FOMC meeting coming up will affect the entire market because the people that we're against are actually manipulating and screwing the whole entire market. So you're going to see price action. Now, why did I share that yesterday, and why am I even talking more about it today? Because it's so important. And this is where my opinion comes in, as all my other stuff are opinions as well. But this is where I inch my initials on this statement. Long ago, when I first initiated my AMC and GME positions and the other positions that I have, is mainly the only way to even leverage that my positions and never be caught up into a moment of, oh, I'm over leveraged, oh, I'm screwed or whatever, is to constantly not only maintain it, but add more to it. How did I do that? Through the market itself. Next week will be an opportunity for a plethora of money to be made while hodling. Anyways, it's kind of like the saying is, we're here, we're waiting, might as well enjoy it, right? Might as well do something. But to sit and wait and see your stock and your investments go down, obviously, eventually, it's going to weigh heavier and heavier and only weigh heavier and heavier, and perhaps one day might even get you to say, you know what, screw it. Now, I'm not saying that will definitely be you, but it definitely happened to some throughout our journey. We all got to think about it. Remember, I always say one for all and all for one. That's just my motto on going as far as family and community and movements. The movement is as strong as its weakest link. So if we have many weak links, our movement will be just as such. And that's why I was always against this whole division between the yes and the no months ago. Unfortunately, you can't be level-headed with everyone else, because not everyone else can be level-headed. There are people that I'm over here speaking about and preaching about unity and love and acceptance and all this stuff, and the next thing you know, I'm being dragged into some shit talk. I'm being talked shit about in other various private rooms, and it's like, yeah, AB this and AB that, and it's like, I'm trying to unite everybody, and I'm trying to look out for everybody, and I'm talked shit about now. It's not like I'm the one who's coming out and like getting at people and going at people and saying, F you, this person and that person and that person, or trying to look for drama or beef. But again, it's little, so we'll nip it up the bud and keep it as little as it is, as the place that it was initiated from, extremely small. Also, there is some small little stupid talk as well about the idea that apparently Adam Aaron's excuse for not selling ape or diluting ape at higher prices and waited until the 66 cents range is that there was apparently some bylaws that prevented him from selling at the higher numbers. One thing I gotta say, instead of being, and this is some content creators out there are saying this, instead of rambling about it in private to a few people to boast your egos, come out with the proof and share it in public. You know why you want? And why you're doing it in private? Because there's no such thing. Okay? So all this drifting and these insidious little plays here and there and going behind in the back rooms, behind curtains, and saying stuff that don't exist, that's only going to ruin people's lives. And I think it's really terrible for somebody, doesn't matter how you think it's indirect or direct or whatever, to try to drift people apart, because it could, like, one thing could actually influence somebody into making a wrong decision or a mistake. And I think that this community have seen a lot of that, or experienced a lot of that. Unfortunately, we can't go to the past to try to change the future. We just can live in the moment, forget about the past, live today, and hope for the best for tomorrow. And perhaps even plan. And I always say, have contingency plans. If this happens, what am I doing? What do I do? Always stay ahead of it. So we knocked out the reason for price action this week. We knocked out the reason for FOMC next week and the possibility of making money, a lot of good money. Another thing also, and we talked about the stupid rambles and all that stuff. Another thing, anybody who's a yes vote or even a no vote, it baffles me that anybody who didn't expect or didn't see Antara selling yesterday, the 48 million shares, my mind is boggled by that. Like, they clearly have signed a contract with AMC and saying they would hold the shares all the way up till the vote. That's it. And they held their end of the bargain and they sold. They stuck true to their word. Why wouldn't they? If I was a CEO of Antara and I came to a place to buy, I saw an opportunity where a company devalues the shit out of its own worth, does not know its true value. Why? Well, I know the true value here. I see the opportunity here. I'll take advantage of it. Nobody can be mad at Antara. I'm not mad at Antara. They're a bystander. They saw an opportunity. They came. They saw. They conquered. And they're selling. What I'm surprised about is why they didn't dump the entire thing. But here's the thing. A lot of people are thinking like, okay, so since they didn't dump the entire thing, or why did they even dump? Why wouldn't they just wait for the reverse split and get those conversion? Well, that's not their thing. They're not the ones who's, their game is to take advantage of the opportunity and the arbitrage. See, people are confusing the arbitrage, excuse me, theory here. The arbitrage is not for Antara. Antara's version of the arbitrage is to make money off of a deal they see that they can't miss. Buy in at 66 cents sell in the $2 and the $1.50 range, perhaps even more or a little bit less, but guaranteed money. That's their version of the arbitrage. Now, the reason why, what the other shorts, like the short hedge funds, their reason for arbitrage is different than Antara's. Antara's is just mainly to make money, flip. I just like a real estate agent. I bought a house when the real estate market was down. I bought it for 40, 50K. And then when the market went back up, I rehabbed it, blah, blah, blah. A year and a half, 2 years later, I flipped it for 200. That's what Antara technically is doing there. Better yet, it's even a better deal because they can flip instantly. And they did that. Wait till they start dumping the rest. Now, the short hedge funds have a completely different meaning or purpose for the arbitrage. Their arbitrage purpose is to buy as much ape, wait it till that it goes to a conversion and obviously the reverse split, so they can have freshly minted short shares. I told you this literally months ago. When the proposal was first rolled out, go back and fact check my lives. In fact, if anybody wants to dare me to go fact check myself, I'll clip and I will freaking post it. But I would expect for anybody who want me to do that to also be there so that they can also own up to that moment. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. But go back, fact check. I've told every person, this is where you get the fist. The title of the video, I think it was that. It's either that or the one before it. The only way for shorts to get out is by having shares. Well, now, if the proposal goes still through with the yes and the court does not stop it, they will have, when the conversion happens, they will have newly, freshly minted ape shares. That's the reality. Because they have obviously had a lot of apes through the record date back in August. And I showed you guys the example of AQR as well, how they bought their hedge fund's record number of AMC shares and dumped them instantly after they got the ape issuance so that they can hold on to that, add more to it, wait for the conversion. Now they have shares to give to each other to go ahead and close with. They no longer at that point have to go through us at whatever price to cover their shares. It's important to cover their shorts. Now, on top of all that, to sweeten the deal, also AMC gets 400 plus million shares. They could issue at any time. So if they needed still some and they were short a few here and there, AMC would come into the rescue. Again, in the name of the balance sheets and improving our balance sheets and our strengthen our company. Again, no one is going to come out and say, hey, I'm here to F you. So I'm doing it right now. In that world, you just do it and then say, in the name of strengthening balance sheets and a stronger company. So again, that's also another thing to cover. So it's important to understand what the arbitrage meaning for each person, for you guys, for investors, for us, is to perhaps buy AMC shares, to go long on ape, to buy AMC shares, but at a lower price, waiting for the conversion to happen. But you never have to worry about any reverse splits or any of that kind of stuff if there's no such thing as a conversion or reverse split. If it was a no, your position stays the same. You do not have to average down. In the same time, there's still plenty and ample of ways, and I've showed some of how they can still dilute and work through, obviously going through ape itself and never merging it back with AMC. And it's not necessarily just to give us MOAS, but it's even better for AMC because diluting at much higher prices without having to reverse split their own shares or even do any conversions or suck somebody else's lollipop, like Antara's for 66 cents and whatever. They don't even have to go through any of that. They could keep their dignity. Again, now we talked about that and we shelf that. Ultimately, where do we go from here? It's day by day all the way until that court hearing. Until then, money don't stop, family. It does not stop. You're going to have many opportunities this upcoming week, and tomorrow you'll see people, like today, they're already taking positions. In the same time, balancing things out for the market makers to make sure they don't get obliterated on the options chain. Play the game even if it's rigged. And that's what the stock market is. It's a rigged house. All the rules apply to you, but just about none apply to the house or to the opposition. What does that mean? Do you just never participate? That's an option in the stock market. Or do you still go in and go through all the thorns and the branches and the trees and the hills and the ditches just to get to where you want to get? If it's worth it, why not? So that's the choice, is even when there's all that corruption, there's still a way to play the game within the game itself so that you can actually make some money and come out also a winner on top of it. Now, should it be all like this? Hell no. But this is life. Evil and good are always there. If you want to participate in an evil system, which is like the stock market, you should go in prepared to adjust to some of the things that they do so that you can prevent or protect yourself. If you don't do that, then you're walking into a naive world and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. You're going to lose because the house is going to constantly beat you. You have to adjust to all these things. And that's something that almost everybody knows by now. It's not new news. But I'm also always speaking for everybody. You never know who just walked in today, who joined the community today. You never know how long they've been in and their journey in investing and all that stuff. So there's always more room on the table for everyone. Doesn't matter how much experience or no experience they have. No one is born with any experience on their first breath when they're born. We all gain that through life if we choose to seek it. And I think that we should all be ready to learn, always be a student of life. Learn and pass along what you learn and kind of like throw it in the ocean. Whoever takes it, takes it. Whoever doesn't take it, you did your part, but continue learning. And never sit on the pedestal. With that being said, sorry for the long video, family, but I had to get all that stuff out. Write your comments. Tell me what you think the theories are, because again, there's still a theory about what is Antara really doing. Are they going to dump everything out? Well, I gave you the ideology of what their arbitrage, what is their idea of arbitrage. Nobody should be surprised of why they sold. I'm surprised they didn't sell everything. Everybody knows that it's going to be converted. So the only people that are using arbitrage, mainly arbitrage, are us, retail, and shorts. That's the only two that are taking advantage of the arbitrage. Antara's or other companies who just bought Ape at a low price, their idea of arbitrage is buy low, sell high. They have no short position to go ahead and cover for. And if they do, that could also very well explain why they sold a portion and the rest they'll keep so they can use after they get converted and become AMC shares to go ahead and cover their AMC position with. So win-win for them. Write your comments and tell me what you think. Much love, AB Investments.